Namaste everybody. Welcome to the Sundays with Sattva program. Today we are delighted to have with us our brother, our inspiration, and one of the first people who tried the experiment which I had done on myself and actually experienced the benefits of that program. Glad to introduce to you Vinay Pai, who lives in Karjat, and he is with us to share his story. So welcome Vinay, unmute yourself and say hello to all of us. Great to see you.
Good evening, sir. Hi, everyone.
Great. So Vinay, tell us a bit about your background, where you are from, what was your childhood like, how you grew up, and what kind of samskar, as they say, upbringing you had. Please tell us a bit about that.
I was born in a place called Malad in Mumbai in 1968, 54 years ago. And a very modest family, 100 square feet house, father working in a mill. So I could study only till 10th standard. Went to an English medium school, but my English is not so good. Hope you guys will adjust me here.
For somebody who has gone to school only until 10th standard, your English is awesome. I wish people who had bachelor's and master's had as good communication skills as you have. So please.
Okay. And then after 10th, I got into the restaurant industry where I worked for 20 years. Small time too, I was working like managers for banquets, restaurants in 20 years time. And then I got into selling insurance, life insurance, and made some good money there. Met an officer and he introduced me to that business. And that is how I managed to buy a flat in Mumbai. But then working in the hotel industry for 20 years, my lifestyle was very erratic. I was into smoking, drinking almost every day, and eating non-veg and all junk food for 20 years, 25 years. And then at age 36, 35, 36, I was diagnosed with diabetes, high diabetes. My sugar levels were around fasting 450. And the doctor was surprised, like he said, you should have been fainted by now. Diabetes fasting is around 450. Then he put me on medication. And for around 1 or 2 years, I was conscious. I was taking medicine. And then again, I started feeling better. And I stopped medicines.
Do you remember, Vinay, what medicine doctor had prescribed to you at that time?
Glycomet trio, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the medicines.
Because you see, our sister here, Shweta Chikle, who is a part of our Sattva team, she is a certified diabetes educator, and she would be interested in all of these things. You see, for the benefit of those who don't understand these numbers, the fasting sugar is expected to be somewhere around 70 to 100 milligrams per deciliter. That's the unit. That's the blood glucose level. Okay. Whereas in your case, fasting sugar was 450, which was almost 7-8 times the recommended limit. So that's not something we wish to have, correct?
And sir, the reason I had to go to a doctor is I met with an accident and I hurt my foot and it was not healing. I went to the doctor for 1 month. He was bandaging it every day. Every alternate day I used to go for bandages. And even he was surprised, like it's more than 1 month and your wound is not healing. So he said, get a sugar check done. And that is where we found out that the sugar levels were around 450. Till that, I was not feeling any difference in my daily rituals. But
you know, one would expect, and maybe I should ask our sister Shweta here. Shweta, let me see if I can unmute you. If you can unmute and tell us at 450 sugar,
yes,
would you not start smelling urine sweet?
Yes, because there's sugar everywhere by that time. There would be
Exactly.
sugar in the blood. Acidosis would have happened, and acetone in the urine, and at times even in the breath. So most of the times at this high level of, and even actually for 1 month you were going to the doctor and the doctor didn't understand. That itself is very astonishing. How did the doctor didn't understand how your wounds are not healing? actually. And this is how most of the times, diabetes is diagnosed in India, which is a very bad situation currently. This is not how it should be. But this was at the age of 36, right, Vinayji?
Yes, ma'am. Around 35, 36. Yes.
Yes, right.
Wow. So
Ma'am, the doctor
anyway,
that I was,
luckily the doctor found out, and then you found out, and then he started medicine, and you started feeling better. So let's move forward from this story now.
okay. And then after 2 years or something, I stopped taking medicines regularly. And then somewhere I lost conscious, and then again, the same lifestyle. After that 460 thing, I was very conscious. I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking for 8 years. But somewhere I forgot about the medicine and doctor. Everything was hunky dory. Everything was going well, and I was busy in marketing. And then suddenly, at age 48, I got my first attack.
Heart attack.
I was sitting at home, heart attack. I was at home. I remember it was at 8 in the evening. I had my dinner, regular dinner. And then suddenly my chest started paining in the middle.
Oh.
And I told my wife, feeling little uncomfortable. I'm getting pain here in the middle of the chest. My wife said, it must be acidity. I'll boil some water. You have some hot water. And then I started sweating. And the uncomfort was very great. I couldn't bear that uncomfort. So I told my wife, this is something very serious, it seems. We need to go to a hospital right away. And we managed to go to the hospital and reach the hospital in 15 minutes. And as soon as I went to the hospital, they took me inside, and I was feeling the discomfort was so great. I couldn't bear the pain, and I was sweating like anything. And they gave me a tablet or something, told me to put it under my lip, under my tongue. And then, as far as I remember, I got unconscious there. And next morning when I woke up, that discomfort was there. I was in the ICU. And later on in the evening, they told me that I had suffered a heart attack, and they gave me some blood thinners, an injection that was costing around 40,000 at that time.
Oh my God. This was about 6 years ago, right? So it must have been what, 2016 or so?
कौन सा year था? 16 था, 2016. 16 kind, somewhere 2016, correct? Yeah. So
wow. So
that
2016. Okay, so then.
And that injection was supposed to be given in the stomach. 6 or 7 days they gave it to me.
Oh my
for
God.
Blood thinning.
Okay.
And then somehow got out of that hospital, and the left ventricle ejection fraction, that is what they call the pumping of my heart, came down to around 42, if I'm not mistaken. It's supposed to be more than 60, perfect LEVF. So the doctor said the damage has been done and you need to go for angiography. But then I read on social media that it can be controlled and all that. And I said, no, I'll do it on my own. I'll not go for angiography. So again, medicines, I went to that cardiologist for around 5-6 months. He was convincing me to go for angiography, but I did not go. And then again for 3 years, everything was smooth. And 3.5 years back, in 2019, January 2nd, I remember, I was traveling by rickshaw and that pain started again. 2019, Jan 2nd, I remember the date. And I managed to take the rickshaw to a small hospital. I mean, the pain was so great, you cannot think properly. I was trying to call my wife, but I couldn't handle the mobile phone. I couldn't dial the number there. So somehow I managed to, I was totally drunk at that time. The pain was so great, I couldn't think clearly. And somehow I managed to take the rickshaw. And unfortunately, it was a maternity hospital that I saw on the road. I told the rickshaw driver, this seems to be a hospital here, I'll go there inside. And I went inside the hospital myself. And I don't know, somewhere I fell there. I don't remember it. But the staff later on told me. And the doctor on duty, he was a gynecologist. So he did not understand what to give me. I said, kuch to deo mere ko, cannot bear this pain. I think I'm going to die here right now. I cannot, give me something where this pain is relieved. He couldn't do anything. And then they took my phone and I showed them, this is my wife's number. I'm not able to call her up. And somehow they managed to call her. She came and then we went to a hospital again. Again, that same blood thinner 60,000 or 40,000 injection was again given to me, and some other medicines. And I had high blood pressure also at that time. Before that, there was no blood pressure issues. And then after 7 or 8 days, I was stable. But I had hurt my head, my eyes were swollen. And I searched on the net also. The doctor used to call it raccoon eyes. And there is a medical term for it called raccoon eyes, where you injure your head or your eyes and they get swollen and become blood red. So later on, that doctor again said that now this time you have to go for angiography because your LEF has come down to 32, he said. Previously it was 48 or something, then it came down to 32. So then after a week's time, we went for this angiography, and then 3 blockages were found, and then 3 stents were inserted. So after 15 days or so, I came back from the hospital. There the doctor advised me, we were staying on the 2nd floor. First of all, he said that now no more active job you can do, at least for the time being, and somebody should be there with you whenever you go out. And no much stress. Slight walking can be done, but no heavy stuff. And I said, sir, I stay on the 2nd floor. He said, you'll have to sell that flat and come down on the ground floor. You should not climb stairs now. So this is strictly not done, he said. But we had no option. How can we sell a flat overnight and come down? Then gradually I stopped coming down of the house. I was in the house only. Very rarely I used to come down. And I was so afraid at that time. Then there we took a call. He will wind up Mumbai, and we had a property in Karjat. So we decided to shift to Karjat. So that is how we landed in Karjat.
So this was in what? This was in early 2018,
May 19.
19? May 19.
May 19. May 31st, 19, we came down to Karjat. May 30, 19, something, we came down to Karjat.
And I think that's around that time is when one of your relatives forwarded to you something which...
So I was into social media trying to figure out what to do in life now, and I had given up hope. I couldn't walk for more than 10 minutes as a stretch without being unbreathable. I mean, I couldn't.
You were out of breath within 10 minutes.
Breathless. Within 10 minutes, I used to be breathless.
My God.
Just straight parallel walking, I couldn't walk more. I used to remember with my family, I used to go out when I came down to Karjat. Every 10 minutes, I had to take a break. I had to sit somewhere 5 minutes, and then again, we used to go. That was.
And in Karjat, you are living on the ground level?
No, on the 1st floor.
But that's not too bad. How many stairs? Maybe above the parking.
Above the parking, yes.
Okay, so that's not too bad. Only 1 flight of steps or 2 flights of steps?
2 flights of stairs. But talking about this, now I'm climbing hills here.
I know, understand. But then when you moved here,
at that time,
or is there? Do you also have a lift there?
No, there's no lift here.
Okay, all right. But anyway, it was better than climbing 2-4 flights of steps every day, right?
And then we had no option, sir, because this property we already had purchased long time back. We didn't
okay.
New property.
At least this was at least twice as good as the first one. And plus, you did not have to go running around starting in the morning and then all that. So you basically semi-retired or completely retired.
Completely retired.
Okay, well, luckily in your case, you had the financial stability and security where you could retire.
Correct.
Okay, so then?
So then somewhere around that time itself, in June itself, I received that message. And I was like sitting at home. I didn't know what to do. I said, I'll do something very small, but then some activity should be there. But I couldn't walk for more than 10 minutes, like I said. So I did not have the guts to go for a job or something or do something new here. I said, I'll take it easy here. But still that discomfort was very great. And that fear of that pain coming back, which had come back after 3 years, that was so great. I used to have nightmares that pain might come back. And here there are no doctors as such. So, and every 6 months or 3 months, I was supposed to go and visit the cardiologist in Mumbai. I went there once. And in June itself, I remember somewhere in the end of June, I suppose, my brother-in-law sent me this random message where your number was there, and I WhatsApped you, and you were kind enough to call me back in half an hour's time. And this is how the journey began. But when you told me that you will need to fast for 16 hours, I said, how is that possible? Because from the first attack or from the day I was detected for sugar, I was told that you cannot remain empty stomach in the morning. The moment you get up, you need to eat something or your sugar levels will go down, and then you need to take a tablet. So I was like, if I do this and if I go against the doctor's prescription, what if that pain comes back or if something unusual happens? There is nobody here in Karjat. There are no proper medical facilities or doctors here. So one thing that you told me that convinced me was, try it for 10 days. In 10 days, there will not be a great risk for you, I suppose. Try it for 10 days. And if it doesn't work for you, you can go back to your usual routine. So Hindi mein bolte na marta kya na karta. And somewhere when I spoke to you, I was so happy. I mean, the way you talked to me, and I don't know, somewhere I got so impressed by your uh, teachings that I said, let us give it a try for 1 week or 10 days and let's see. I mean, I was very afraid at that time to start doing what you were suggesting, remaining in fasting mode for more than 15-16 hours. But it was not possible. Gradually, I think I remember, I used to have my breakfast around 8:30 in the morning. I postponed it for half an hour, 1 hour, and slowly, gradually, your teachings, your constant messages, videos, they inspired me so much. Then I started believing it, that when I'm not feeling hungry, maybe I do not require this intake. So slowly, gradually, I started 16 hours fasting a day. And I could see the difference in myself from inside me, even on on my face, all those scars were there. I could feel that slowly, that glow coming somewhere. And you were in constant touch at that time, if I remember. And then I started going out, slowly walking and all. Now, walking was a passion since a long time, but that I had given up after the second attack. And now today, it's been 3.5 years. Once I visited the cardiologist, so it is more than 3 years now that I have not seen a doctor. I have not gone to Mumbai to a doctor. I have not visited that cardiologist, or even for simple ailments like cough, cold, or fever. Since the last 3 years, touchwood, I have not faced any of these problems here. My wife was corona infected when this second wave had come. I did all her duties. I had quarantined her. I was washing her clothes. And touchwood, I was not only corona, but even simple ailments like cold, cough, fever, I have not faced in the last 3 years. I am taking the sugar ka medicine. I have got this monitor at home, and I'm checking out my sugar levels almost 15 days to 1 month. But they are all normal right now. And I'm walking minimum 7 kilometers a day today, at least 5 days a week. From Karjat, I go to Palasdari. There is a mutt there. I go there and do a little meditation and come back. It takes 3.5 kilometers 1 way.
Fantastic. So when you started, just one change you did. See, the one thing we always recommend to people is they should not be changing their diet drastically immediately. Okay, they should go step by step. So in the same manner, even though you would have wanted to go all the way, it was better for you, and then your body was telling you cannot really do that. So therefore, if there was a 12-hour or 13-hour overnight fasting, then you would increase that fasting duration by half an hour, 1 hour, like that gradually you did. So how long did it take for you to go from, say, 12-hour fasting to a 16-hour fast? How long? Maybe about a month or so?
Not much. The initial nervousness was over by 1 week's time. Whatever forwards that you were, whatever messages that you were sending me, whatever you used to tell, it was something very new to me. I've never heard about it. So to trust a stranger was a little difficult, but the way you spoke to me, I could feel the genuineness there. And slowly, I think within 15, 20 days, I started the 16 hours fasting.
Great. So you see, this is how we counsel people. And in your case, I shouldn't say that I was counseling you. I was trying to be your brother and trying to share my experience with you, but you were willing to learn. So we always say to people that, yes, we have done this experiment. That is why this whole Sattva program got started. You were one of the inspirations for us. And we share with people whatever we have learned through this. And we tell them, listen, these are the principles of natural living. If you live in this manner, Mother Nature will keep you well. My sister Shweta is also here. So Shweta, why don't you share some of your thoughts, whatever Vinay has said until now? Can you do that, please?
Absolutely. It is a very it's kind of a roller coaster ride for you, Vinay. I understand, but it is all kudos to you that you followed Dada and you applied everything, whatever he told you in your lifestyle, and that's why you are what you are today. And you are hale and hearty, and we wish you a very healthy life.
Thank you.
And you actually see this is what that this is the need of the hour. I feel facing some issues every now and then that as young people as young as 32, 30, 34 years have these severe attacks, and doctors cannot do anything and we lose them. There are so many doctors in my contacts who we have lost 2, 3 cases, such cases I have seen, and most specifically after because coagulopathy due to COVID as such, as well as the vaccinations. That is what we are seeing. So we don't really know what causes what. We just blindly follow things. We Google things, and people keep following things, but that is not how it should be. See, what we do in Sattva is we go back to our roots, and that is what is helping us so much. So, can
See
you
what
hear me,
Vinay
Vinay
does,
ji?
Shweta.
Because I thought, Asha, haan, yeah.
Vinay actually exemplifies
Yes,
what we have been trying to share with people. This is really, really wonderful.
yes, exactly.
So therefore, Vinay, we
It's
started this
wonderful.
whole program in June, and then within
Yes.
about a month, you were able to go to a 16-hour fast. How did you transition from whatever you were eating to a mostly natural diet? Tell us a bit about that.
Natural diet, you prescribed me natural diet, but I was having home food and natural diet initially. But then for 6, 7 months, I was on raw diet, completely raw diet. 6 to 7 months, I remember fruits, salads, once in a while home cooked food. But then I
So
was
did
so
you start completely?
nay, now it's been more than six
Did you
months.
start with 100%?
Yes, 100% raw diet. In maybe a couple of months' time, initially, I started raw diet I was in the raw diet for more than 6 to 8 months. I remember having home food also, but mostly it was raw.
Yes.
Now, like today it is Shraddh day. So today sir, I hope people understand Shraddh here.
Yeah. No, today happens to be the Sarva Pitri Amavasya. Today is the day on which we remember all of our forefathers, and there is a
Ah,
celebration. There is some special food we
ah,
prepare as an offering, which is okay.
ah.
So go ahead, Vinay.
So yesterday night I had my dinner at 7:30 in the evening. Salads, little home cooked food. Today afternoon, 2 o'clock, I had a hearty meal. The special dishes were there today. But today afternoon, 2 o'clock, now I'm feeling so full right now. I'll be having my next meal tomorrow around 2 o'clock. So it'll be a 24-hour fast today.
Right. So this is exactly what we try to tell people, right? So if you have cooked food or if you have some special food on special occasions, this is why all the celebrations we have in our culture, we have. On those days, having food that is specific for that particular celebration or festival, you should have. Okay. Now that food will take a bit longer to digest. So it's okay. You wait that long to digest all that food and then have the next meal. So Vinay, you ended up having only one meal today and you will have another meal tomorrow after 24 hours. So this is how we say, okay, you don't have to deprive yourself. In the Sattva program, nobody has to eat 100% raw food. 100% raw food may not even be suitable for everybody. And culturally, it is not suitable for us because if we always eat raw food and if we declare to everybody that I will eat only raw food, then nobody will invite you. You will not be acceptable socially and so on. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to declare anything. You should do what you think is good for your body. When you go out in social events or social circumstances, social situations, you choose what you should be eating, what you know your body can handle, what is good for your body. That you eat, most of it you can eat. I mean, most of your food should be that. And then whatever your body doesn't like or you know is not good for your body, then you have that only in small quantities. Then digest it. See, if the digestive fire is good. See, digestive fire is like a big fire. Remember Holi we do in March? So in that Holi, initially when we are lighting the fire, we are adding some easily ignitable material, even paper. Then we get the fire lit up. Then in that burning fire, if you add some used tires, even they will burn. So in the same manner, if we ignite the fire in our belly, it is called Jatharagni, digestive fire. When does that happen? You will get a feeling of intense hunger. You will be hungry. So wait until you are hungry. And then once you are hungry, then you add to it the food you are eating. See, one thing we tell people is even if you eat the most sattvic food, the most easy to digest food, when you are not hungry, then that same easy to digest food, the sattvic food, is going to become junk in your body. So sattvic food becomes rajasic and tamasic if eaten at the wrong time, which means if you eat that when you're not hungry, then the same food will bother you. But in your case, you see, you have learned the principle that I shall eat only when I'm hungry. That is the first principle. What you eat is secondary. The first principle and the first discipline we have to follow, Vinay and everybody else I should recommend here, is you eat only when you're hungry. Then if you eat only natural food or mostly natural food, then you will see the kinds of results which our brother Vinay has experienced. So Vinay, in those 6 months, what were the changes you experienced? Tell us.
My discomfort levels were gone while walking. I started doing 1 kilometer a day. I love walking, but then unfortunately I couldn't go at that time. But slowly confidence built up. I could feel that glow on my face, that boost inside me. I don't know, somewhere that energy levels started coming back again. And mostly it was confidence. And talking to you was a totally different. Like, there are so many gurus out there. But if there was no contact from you or guidance from you on a constant basis, almost every day there used to be messages from you, this would not have been possible. And within 1 month I started walking 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, and now my target is 7 kilometers, and that too after more than 16 hours of fasting. The initial fear was, what happens if my sugar levels go down here? You cannot find a single human being on the road when I go out. It's totally deserted. Only wild animals are there. There are no human beings here. So that fear was there. If suddenly in middle of the road, if I get that pain or my sugar levels come down. But now it's been 3.5 years. I mean, in the last 7-8 months, I'm doing more than 6-7 kilometers a day, minimum 6 to 7 on an empty stomach after 16-17 hours of fasting. That is one thing that even I did not understand how that is possible. I am fasting for more than 16 hours and walking so many. But by the time I come back, the hunger is so great. I feel so hungry by the time I reach home. I have my bath and then I have my first meal of the day. But the doctor usually used to say, if you don't eat anything, your sugar levels will go down and then there will be more complications. So you need to eat first thing in the morning. It was the ritual that we were following for so many years. 3-4 meals a day. That is what the ritual was since childhood.
Correct. I think
Yes.
Shweta,
So
our
what
sister, wants to
happens?
ask you some questions. Shweta, go ahead and ask some
Yes.
questions. You wanted
No,
to
I
ask
would
him?
just like to answer his query that when you are fasting for more than 16-15 hours and when you go for walks, at that time, your body tries to utilize whatever stores are there in your body. And that is why your sugars will never drop. That is the first thing. Unless and until your diabetes is highly uncontrolled and everything in the body is utilized. Okay. I would also want to ask you that what was your weight when you started with this diet and now what is your weight? And are you still continuing with the medicines that the doctor had told you?
Yeah, today I'm taking 2 tablets before every meal. It's called glycomet trio 2 0.3. That is one tablet that I'm not missing. And then Ecosprin 75, one I'm taking daily for blood thinning.
Yes. Yes.
These are the
Right.
2 tablets
And
that I am.
yeah, and the reports, your left the evacuation fraction was less, right? The EVF
That
was about 60. It should be more than 60%. So now what is your EVF?
I told you, after the second attack, it came down to 38, and then it was 2 years back, I suppose. There was a camp at a big hospital in Mumbai. So out of curiosity, I went and got it checked there. So it had come up to 44% from 38 in a period of 2 years. After that, I've never visited any hospital or any doctor for that matter. Just out of curiosity, I had gone there, and now no more doctors for me, unless if there is an emergency.
Correct, correct. Very true. And what is your weight now, Vinayji?
I have not measured my weight, but I have put on a little weight. I will not. I mean, since last 6-8 months, I have started eating home food, but I eat only 1 meal or 2 meal a day, and with salads and all. That pure, I mean, raw diet, that conscious has gone now. But
No,
this
see,
principle
that
of
is
eating
fine.
only when hungry. But those 6
Mm.
months of raw diet was a total miracle. Total miracle in the sense my skin tone, my energy levels, they were totally different at that time. And weight also, I
Yes,
lost anything. I have sent to Vikram sir my photographs, before and after photos while doing that raw diet. But from my previous levels, I was more than 100 kilos at that time.
Why don't I show you? Why don't I show these pictures on the side while you are talking? So I'm going to share my screen. You keep talking, Vinay and Shweta.
I was around
yes, yes,
102
definitely.
kgs.
So see, when what happens on, yeah, go
And
ahead,
then
sorry.
during raw diet thing, 6-8 months, I think I did not check my weight much, but my waist size from 44, it came down to 32.
Wow. Mm.
So is everybody able to see
Lovely.
these pictures?
Yes, yes, Dada, we can see it.
So look at the picture on the top left. This is how Vinay used to be before he started his raw diet experiment. And then in about 6 to 8 months, see on the right, he's wearing, I think, a medium sized t-shirt, whereas on the left, he's probably wearing an extra large. What do you think, Vinay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then on the bottom left, you'll see the completely roughed up face, which is when I think you fell down in the hospital, right?
Yes, yes.
And then on the right, you see all the blemishes from his face have completely disappeared. The face has become so much clearer.
Correct.
So this is what raw natural diet can do to us. If you change your diet from mostly cooked, mostly processed, mostly junk, and if you're eating and consuming things that your body is not naturally meant for, and you change that to a mostly pure natural diet, then your skin will improve. The skin quality improves tremendously. So this is Vinay's experience. This has been simply phenomenal. I'm so glad I actually found this slide in one of my old presentations. I was looking for it, searching for it while you and Shweta were talking. So Shweta, please go ahead, and you were chatting with him. So let's do that.
Yes, yes, yes. So see, Vinayji, now for maintenance, what we need to do is you can just continue with at least more than 50-60% of raw food, and that should be enough. I mean, for you to maintain, if your weight is in the normal range of what your height is, then you should be doing this. Okay, don't just have cooked food, but then you can always have the raw food first and continue with 16 plus hours of fasting. That is actually going to help you forever. And now you have learned how to compensate for whatever, if you visit somebody or if you have some function at home, then what to have, what not to have. So you know how to compensate. So this is exactly what we teach everybody in the Sattva program, that how to modify and how to make dietary changes step by step. We are not going to ask anybody to straight away have, go on to more than 16 plus hours of fasting, but everybody's body is different. So one size does not fit all. We cannot do it all together in overnight. Okay, so step by step we try and change everybody's dietary habits, lifestyle habits. We counsel everybody weekly. So that is what we do in Sattva program. And your journey is absolutely, I was so overwhelmed to listen to your journey. This is the first time we are meeting actually, because I joined
Yeah.
Sattva after your program was done, right? So it is absolute pleasure to listen to you, and I'm so happy. I'm so glad that you've been benefited with this
Shweta,
lifestyle.
Vinay, our brother
Please
was
continue to
our
follow.
Vinay was pre-Sattva. He had done this program even before we started Sattva. So he was one of the
Right.
inspirations for us to start the Sattva program. If people's lives can be transformed in this manner, why not share this with
Yes.
more and more and more people? So I asked Vinay specifically, called him and asked him, I said, Vinay, I want a statement from you, and we would like to use that statement as an inspiration on our web page. And on the Sattva front page, you will see a picture, not a picture, but a statement from Vinay as to how his life was transformed on this entire journey. So you have been an inspiration for all of us. Inspiration in the sense, this is a validation of my own experience as well as the experiments I had done. And I had achieved certain results. So I said, if this is natural law, then this has to be applicable for everybody. So why don't we try to counsel people or tell people about this and see if they are motivated? So see, all congratulations and kudos to you, Vinay, because you believed in this and you were brave enough to try this experiment. A couple programs ago, maybe a month or so ago, we had with us our brother Praveen Khatta from New Jersey. He recovered from stage 4 cancer. So he was almost on the brink, just as you were. See, you were on the brink because of heart trouble. Praveen was on the brink because of cancer, almost going to fall in the valley. But they were saved because of completely natural diet. So this is exactly what we want to share with people. So thank you so much for your story, Vinay. And we'll
All
ask.
credit goes to you, sir. Unless you,
No, no,
I
no.
mean, there are so many gurus. I said, unless you had contacted, you were almost there for me every day, evening, one to two messages, videos, and calling up. If that was not done, I would not have continued with this at that point of time. And more than me, it was the family members who were afraid when I started this fasting.
You know, we should also compliment your family members. And if any of them would like to come on video and say hello to us, it's up to them, of course, but we would love to say hello to them and compliment them as well, that they have stood by you in this whole journey and encouraged you. So I'm sure they are also delighted with your transformation, that you're now so
Obviously,
much healthier, so much positive, you can exercise so much, enjoy life so much. Now I'm going to ask you a difficult question, okay, before I open this to other people. See, you were on completely natural diet for 6 to 8 months and you were feeling awesome. Okay. Then I also want you to tell us how you completely lost desire to drink alcohol. Tell us.
it happened naturally. I used to drink almost every alternate day, not if not daily, every alternate day, in a very small quantity, 180 ml of whiskey. And then I do not know what happened, but gradually, I think within 3-4 months of this diet, I did not have that urge of drinking.
Correct. So this is what happens if you purify your diet, then of course it detoxifies the body, which happened in your case because you saw how the face cleared up, how your weight went down, you became much more energetic. So these are all the manifestations of a healthy body at age 54 or age 52. You have to be quite energetic at that age. You should not become Galita Gatra, they say in Sanskrit or Marathi. You should not be like that. You should be very energetic at age 52. So you experienced all of that. And then because the body got purified over time, the mind also got purified. And the mind started telling you that this is not good for me, so you should not consume it. That's why your cravings went away. This is what is supposed to happen. And this is what happened in your case, which was great. See, in my personal case, I was not addicted to anything other than sweets. You know, I used to love sweets. I still love sweets. And that's why most of my platter, if you see, is all sweet because it's all fruit. It's all natural sugar. Why should you not love sweet? Of course, you should love sweet. You should eat sweet stuff, but you should eat natural sweet stuff and only when you're hungry and in limits. That's the thing we promote. That's the thing we suggest to people. Of course, if you have a sugar problem, if you have had a history of glucose issues in the blood, then the recommendations will be different. And that's why we have our sister Shweta here. She is a certified diabetes educator. She is a nutritionist, she is a dietitian, she's a clinical dietitian. So she specializes in recommending diets for people who have had some lifestyle or other ailments. So that's how this whole program runs. It's a beautiful experience. One other thing, Vinay, I was going to ask you, the last thing I meant was, see, if you are on a natural diet, you get a certain experience from within. And then for some reason, whether it is because of social consumption compulsions or whether it is because of your own desire, sometimes you will have a craving, okay, bahut din mein ye khaya nahi, wo khayenge. So you must have done that.
Yes.
Then what happens? Tell us.
The first thing that comes to my mind about this is that the energy levels go down the next day.
Correct. Correct. So you don't feel as good in the morning when you eat
Yes.
cooked food as you do when you are only on natural food. So therefore, the morning walk, the morning experience is so much better. Correct?
Ah, right.
So this is positive control as well as negative control. So if you follow a certain lifestyle, you get a certain result. Then you deliberately break that lifestyle, deliberately break your own rules. So we encourage people to every now and then break the rules. Because when you break the rule, you will face the consequence. Then you will know the difference between the two experiences. So when you are not breaking the rule, you are feeling great. When you are breaking the rule, then you are not feeling so great. When you have those two data points, will you be crazy to choose the second data point? You will not. So most of the time you will be like this. So the second thing will happen only under compulsion sometimes, but you will always be conscious. Therefore, you will limit your quantity of cooked food or processed food and control the negative consequences. So your awareness about food increases with this whole discipline. This is what happens. Correct, Vinay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Awesome. Any questions anybody has for our brother Vinay here? He is available here to answer any questions anybody may have. So by all means, what I will do now, I will allow people to unmute themselves if you feel like. One person at a time. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Okay. So Vinay, you will also have to unmute when you have to speak. So anybody who wishes to speak is welcome to unmute and then ask a question to Vinay. Otherwise, Nainatai, she has been a participant with our program also. Of course, she has not had any diseases like you. She was only battling her weight. And Nainatai, maybe you can tell your experience, please.
Hi, this is Naina. And yeah, I joined this program just for the weight loss. And initially, yes, it was hard on me, to get onto this because fasting was really a challenge. And of course, then I tried my best, giving up one thing at a time. And of course, I didn't have the desire later on, as Vinayji mentioned, because I was an egg eater. And occasionally over the weekends, just have a wine or something. That was my usual lifestyle. But over the time, I started getting no desire for egg up to today. Up to today, I don't feel that urge of eating even non-vegetarian. I'm a non-veg basically, but I gave up not out of any compulsion, but out of my own choice. I don't have desire anymore. So and all the healthy lifestyle and everything, just was on track. So I'm really inspired, Vinayji, what you said today, because I was once upon a time with no ailments as such, but yes, I had positive attitude and really good, good way of looking at life, self-esteem and all that stuff.
There is a question here from our sister Priyanka Sarkar. She is saying, can Vinayji go completely without medication? Do you think Shweta, our sister, is here? So Shweta, would you like to comment on this?
Yeah. For glycomet, we can try. If his levels are like absolutely normal, he can try to go without, but not without the consent of the doctors. So what we generally do is we try and take the doctors, we make the doctors take a call for this. But ecosprin definitely no, because ecosprin is something like a blood thinner. So he should not be going without ecosprin ever, because he has had a lot of heart issues. So that small dose of ecosprin that he will have to continue. But yes, I think if his blood sugar levels are absolutely normal, he can, like what we experience, he can try it out with experiments and see if he can go without the medicines, or else at least reduce the taper down the doses slowly, but not absolutely without medicines, at least for ecosprin no.
Right. See, what we should do, Vinay, is like our sister Shweta has said, you should continue to monitor yourself. You should see and consult with your doctor, including your cardiologist. Your cardiologist must be really pleased with you that your weight has gone down, your blood pressure is now normal, your sugar is now more or less normal. You're feeling energetic. You're feeling very healthy. So what does your cardiologist say, by the way, after you met him, whenever you met him after your transformation? Please unmute yourself and say.
I met him only once. That was also before I started the diet. It's
Okay.
been 3 years. I have not gone to any doctor, I said.
Oh,
I have never visited any
fantastic.
doctor after that.
Not even your diabetologist?
No, the cardiologist was a diabetologist also.
Okay, but
I
I
mean, he
think,
was
you know,
suggesting me
if you
diabetes.
want to reduce your dosages, which I think we should, so you should consult your doctor and say that, okay, you know, I've been like this. This has been the experience so far in the last 3 years. I haven't even had a cold.
So, yeah, so for that, what we need to do is you will have to do a regular checkup with regular intervals, meaning HbA1c after every 3 months for at least you take 2 readings, and blood pressure, sorry, not pressure, but sugar, BSL fasting and postprandial sugars. These you can check for at least 3 months consecutive, and then you can show this to your doctors. I don't think they will let you go off ecosprin completely, because your EVF is not up to the mark even now, but you are still healthy. Okay, so that they will not stop. But yes, glycomet they can. If your HbA1c is normal, have you checked your HbA1c lately?
I have not done anything in the last 3 years.
So you can do that, and actually you should be checking these things regularly, at least once a year. Lipid
Sugar levels
profile.
I'm checking at home. I have this machine at home.
No, the HbA1c thing I'm saying.
That is
HbA1c you
the
should
3
check.
month average. 3 month average.
Yes. So that you should check once. You should check lipid profile once in a year.
Okay.
And depending on your lipid profile and your these things, you know, the heart things, they will decide whether to taper down the ecosprin dose or no, and the
Okay.
glycomet thing also.
Wonderful. See, we should talk another time also, Vinay. Maybe we can set up a time to talk to you with the whole team, and then we can make some suggestions as to what you could be doing. There are a couple of sisters here I haven't seen for a while. Sunita is here. If Sunita would like to say anything, would you like to say hello, Sunita, to all of us? Sunita joins us from the UAE, if I'm not wrong. Are you in UAE or somewhere else? Would you like to say hello? Priyanka has been a part of our program for more than a year and a half. When did you join, Priyanka?
Last June.
Last June you joined,
So
huh? And you were with us for how long?
for 3 months, and then I'm still on same kind of diet. Yeah.
Okay. So during those 3 months, what were your experiences? Tell us.
Oh, amazing! I didn't have any
Ailments.
complications, any issue, any ailments, other than, you know, I needed my energy level to look after my kids and the family, household chores. So okay, so it was amazing to discover that although I felt like I was on a healthy weight, and I was doing all the exercises, and I was on you know sattvic diet, not natural,
Yeah.
sattvic diet.
You were
I
also
used
a
to feel
part of
like
some meditation program, right, Priyanka? You were doing
no,
some
I am a
meditation or
Reiki
something.
practitioner.
Oh, you're a Reiki practitioner. Okay, all right.
Reiki practitioner. Yeah. So yeah, so that kept me on. So the energy I used to gather from Reiki itself. So, but yeah, I was feeling the pull, the pull for, you know, going something more about it. So once I joined this, I from the first day itself, I stopped, you know, I pushed myself not to eat without hunger, and I felt the difference the immediate next day. Starting from skin, my skin was horrible since I remember. Um, uh, like it was dehydrated all the time. Although I was drinking 3-4 liters of water, it was always dehydrated. I was checking my urine whether it's transparent or you know, colored, or but it was always like and I could never I never had any good result with my skin, in spite of having cosmetics, you know, all kind of cosmetics and the procedures I have done. No good experience. But the immediate next day, it was wonderful. and that kept on changing. So it has been a wonderful thing so far.
So
And
friends, I would
I'm
like
loving
you
it.
to know that Priyanka, our sister, happens to be in California. So it's early Sunday morning for her. And if on early Sunday morning she looks like this, I'm sure she looks wonderful during the day. Okay. So she has had a phenomenal transformational experience from within. Even I would say within about 3 weeks, you started feeling such a change and such a transformation within that you really didn't need to continue the program for 3 months, but you still wanted to continue. Why did you want to continue? Tell us.
Because I didn't know where I would land up after 3 months. So I wanted to continue to see how far I can go, because initially when I started, I was taking 50%, like 50% raw and 50% cooked. Then by the third month, I was completely on raw. I was not eating any cooked food. So that transformation, that help I needed, obviously, and I felt the difference. And today, as Vinayji said, like, we know our body, we know our system, so we know the fire. So as per fire, I can, I can eat, I can socialize, but yeah, all in control. So this control, that my health is in my control, is a big thing.
Fantastic.
It's a big achievement.
Fantastic. See, Vinay, how many people you have inspired? So you have to unmute.
It all is because of you, sir. All credit goes to you.
No. See, we refuse to take credit even when people tell that, Sattva team or Sattva program or I personally have helped them. No. All I have done is I have been an example for you. That's all. And I have done nothing. I don't do anything. Everything simply happens. See, if we all, regardless of what teachings you learn from me or anybody else, unless you are willing to accept those teachings, unless you are willing to understand those teachings, and unless you are willing to implement those teachings in your life, it doesn't matter who comes in your life. He will be a failure, right? So even though, see, the story I always like to tell people is when the Mahabharata happened. In the Mahabharata time, there was, a Pandava clan, 5 Pandavas, and there was a Kaurava clan. There were 100 Kauravas, and there was Bhagwan Krishna. So we always pray to Bhagwan Krishna and we say that Krishnam Mande Jagat Gurum. So he was the Jagat Guru. He was the teacher of the whole world, right? So that teacher of the whole world was in my life. But unfortunately, I was Duryodhan. So I could not learn anything. But if I'm willing, if I'm capable, then I'm the Arjuna. So if I'm Arjuna, then I'm willing, I'm capable, and I can learn because the Jagat Guru is in my life. So that is the difference between our Arjuna nature and our Duryodhana nature. So when we are led by our likes, dislikes, passions, then we are slaves of our tongue. Then we go and do whatever the tongue likes, whether it is food or drink or speaking ill about people and things like that. See, the tongue can do two things, right? One is taste and one is speak. So with both those functions, if we do the right thing, so if we eat the right thing and if we speak the right thing, then our life gets transformed. That is what we have experienced. And this inner desire, inner willingness to learn is the actual guru, not the outside guru. Outside guru is only a manifestation of that inner desire to learn. So in your case, you were like the Arjuna, life and death situation. Arjuna was also like that. In Mahabharata, until that life and death situation happened, Arjuna was not willing to learn. So this is how we are. This whole Mahabharata actually happens in our own life. So if we look at the challenging situation in our life in this manner, so Vinay, in your case, you were at the brink. You were desperate. You wanted to do something with your life which was going to bring it back on track. It was going to crash. It had almost crashed, but you came back. So all credit to you, not to me. I'm only your brother. I've always told you that I'm not responsible for your transformation. If you have to get well, I cannot go to the gym. If I go to the gym, I will become well, not you. Because you went to the gym. You transformed your life. You took all the decisions. You understood this and you wanted to implement it, and you did. This is what transformation is all about. So friends, here is this wonderful, inspiring story of our brother Vinay, who has undergone this transformation. So thank you, Vinay, for coming over, taking the time to join with us, and we wish to, we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank,
Thanks a lot.
thank you.